What up? What up, y'all? Y'all now tapped in with the Stamper podcast. This is episode 24. It seemed like this yesterday I did my first podcast episode, but hey, we 24 episodes in, y'all. I got a very special guest in the building, someone who's killing the social media game, whose brand, whose content is fire. I've been tapped in from the beginning. I finally got the chance to sit down with her to know a little bit more about her and her story. What's up, Nyla? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I can't complain at all. As a matter of fact, it's notarized with Nyla, not just Nyla, y'all.
Well, you can say Nyla. It's notarized with Nyla, but Nyla's a little bit more informal. Just
Oh, good. How you doing, How you doing today, by the way?
I'm good. Just I was able to be on this podcast. I didn't have any signings today, so Tuesday's a good day.
I'm telling you, hey, you might, how the universe works. You say you don't have one, you might end up with 3 or 4 after this.
Right, let me be quiet. Let me not say nothing.
Right, that part. So just starting out, just tell our audience a little bit about yourself. Just who are you and where are you from?
Okay, well, my name is Nyla Robinson. I'm from Houston, Texas. I am 23 years old. So I know a lot of people a lot of young people not really notaries, but my grandmother was a notary and I was just curious to what it was and didn't think I was going to go this far. Honestly, when people ask me, how did you start your business? Why do you want to be a business owner? And I'm just like, I always knew I wanted to have something for myself because I always believe that you yourself, you are an entity, you are a brand. So when you can just make money from that and make money off of your name and put your name on something, that's amazing. So, and just that's basically what my whole thought process was, becoming a notary. And then I became a notary because I seen how important it was and how it can change people's lives just drastically. Like as soon as you sign your name on something, boom, they move into the next chapter in their life. I signed a marriage license, they married. Sign a divorce decree, it's finalized. You sign things and it's just like it's cool to be a part of the process where somebody gets to change their life. I think that's the best part of it. So
That's pretty dope. So you mentioned your grandmother was a notary. Now, how did she get in? Do you know how did she get into the business?
She was a notary for a long time, but she always tells me, I didn't go as far as you did. She didn't go the whole platform. She doesn't have a business out of it, but she is a notary. But that's why I figured it out from.
Is she still active?
I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question. I think she is, but I know every 4 years you have to renew it. I don't know if she knows that you have to do that every 4 years, but She probably is. We just haven't talked on that level if she's doing something.
Okay. Now, like I said, you mentioned your grandmother was a notary. Did you come from a family of entrepreneurs? Was the majority of business owners, or are you just the apple? How did you get into entrepreneurship?
No, actually, it's just a matter of research. I don't want to call myself a nerd. I'm more of a bookworm, like researcher. So me researching things, I'm just like, it's better with me being a Black woman and actually making a name for myself. I just felt like that was important. No one in my family has any businesses, as far as I know. Is like there's older people, like when I was like older, as far as like I had family that owned restaurants and stuff like that, but these are older family members who now are retired. So, but as far as like immediate family, I'm like the only person that has a business. So
Now, when you did make that decision to pursue entrepreneurship, become a business owner, how did your family take it?
They weren't surprised because they know I'm an independent person. They were just like, oh, that's Nyla. We know Nyla is gonna do something, because as of right now, I'm obtaining my master's as I'm doing this. So they're like, Nyla's always doing something. I'm always doing something. So they weren't too shocked. They're very supportive. So that I'm very grateful for.
So you say you going after your master's right now?
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. What you getting your master's in?
I'm getting my master's in human resources. That's why I have professional services added on to my business, like resume building, HR consulting. I have that with it because I'll get my master's in May of next year. I just got my bachelor's in 2020 from Grambling State University in Louisiana.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, thank you. And so I just felt like my family's very big on education. So businesses, things happen. And I feel like, let me have these degrees behind me just in case.
Right. That
Let
part.
me have that behind me just in case. So, I always think of plan A, B, C, D, E,
I like that. So that's interesting. So how do you juggle? Because I'm pretty sure that's not easy going through your master's program. Then you still got to run a business. How do you find the balance between the two?
Basically, I have it right here. My planner is like my lifesaver. My planner is my lifesaver because I do specific days. A lot of my work from master's program is due Thursday and Sunday. So I try to make sure I don't have as many signings those days and just kind of pick days where I can just do strictly work. And then sometimes I do strictly business. So it's just kind of prioritizing your days. I have to make sure I plan my weeks week by week, like, because you don't want to miss a deadline for school and then you don't want to miss a signing for work.
Right.
So,
And I think that's the beauty of the notary business, right? Because again, we have the flexibility, we have the power to be in control of our schedules, right? So in case we are pursuing other ventures, we can say, we can put a pause on this just for a brief moment so I can handle this. And then once I do got some time that's open up, I can go back all in into my business.
That's what's so great about it. That's why I love being a notary so much, because the flexibility is crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. That's dope. I mean, just from what I'm hearing right now, I mean, you sound like a person that's pretty sound and disciplined. Where did that come from?
A lot of people tell me that.
Like, where did that come from?
My parents have a very strong work ethic. Like growing up, all I've known them to do was go to work. Like, so me growing up, I'm like, okay, well, that's what I need to do. I need to go to work.
Right.
I need to go to work. And then when you're a person that likes, I'm not going to say materialistic or nice things, I just like to have good quality things, I like to say.
Yes.
So just with me working, I'm like, okay, I can do a lot of upkeep, because me and a female is a lot of upkeep just in itself. So I just feel like working, and then the benefit you get out of it is great. And then, being a notary, everything's not about the money, because even though the money will come, I feel like when you love what you do, the money will follow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a fact. Yeah. Whenever, like I said, if you love it, be passionate about it. Like, it doesn't even feel like it's work, right? It
doesn't even feel like it's work. Exactly.
Man, that's dope. Man, that's pretty dope. Wow.
I appreciate that.
23 years old, discipline. I can tell you, when I was 23, my discipline was not there. I'll tell you that right off the gate.
I'll be 24 in July, so it's I'm getting up there. I'm getting up there.
Yeah, but like I said, that's only going to continue to get better over time, right?
Yes, that's the main thing. I'm always trying to look for areas where I can elevate and grow. So
that's dope. So you say you went to Grambling State, right?
Yes, I did.
How'd you get? What was that experience like?
It was a culture shock. I am a city girl from Houston, and going to the country in Louisiana was like, oh my gosh, it was a culture shock. And it was like to the point where everybody's like, I'm like, so what do y'all do out here? Oh, we make our own fun. I was like, what?
Like what? What would they consider fun out that way?
It's just kind of like just people getting together, and just like it was a lot of get-togethers. Like you had to go somewhere where a lot of people were at, versus being in Houston, there's restaurants, there's museums, there's go-kart racing. You can just do a plethora of things in the city that you can't do in the country. But the country was fun. We went trail riding and mudding and everything else. So but my family's originally from Louisiana, so it wasn't too bad. But being out there for 4 years, it was intense.
So you was pretty much you were still pretty much in familiar territory. It wasn't something that was just
it wasn't too bad. But I didn't live in Louisiana. My mom's from Louisiana, but I never lived there. Like we'll go out there for summers, but as far as like staying for 4 years straight, I've never did that. I've never did that.
Now, I think Houston's it's not too far from Gun, right? How far of a drive is that?
About 6 hours.
Oh yeah, that's a drive.
Yeah, that's a drive.
That's a drive. I'm thinking that may be like a 2-hour drive. Like,
no,
that's a drive. Ooh, 6 hours.
Even Houston to Dallas is like 4 hours. So, and they're in the same state. It's big.
Got it. Okay. So transitioning into the notary business, let's talk about what were some of your early challenges when you first began.
My early challenges is what what I'm doing now that I wish somebody would have did for me. Like a lot of my platform is catered to beginner notaries, like just making sure that they networking with each other, because I have the Notarize and Nyla network on Facebook.
Yeah.
I keep notary tips on my page and stuff like that. So a lot of stuff I cater to beginner notaries, because when I first started, I became a notary during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
When I first became a notary, I'm going into Facebook groups, I'm asking questions, and they're like, oh, I feel like you should have known that. You should have did this. And I'm just like, why am I getting so much backlash for asking y'all what's a refinance? You know? And it was just crazy. So I'm just like, that was my biggest challenge, was networking. It wasn't even so much as the research part I had down, because I was telling that I like to research. So that wasn't hard, the studying, but it was networking with people. And I was just like, why is it so hard for y'all to be receptive to me asking questions and wanting advice? And that was just my biggest deal. That's why I thought it was so cool that I was able to create a platform where people can reach out to me for free. Like, I don't charge anybody to call me on the phone. You know, I don't charge them to do that, because when you're a beginner, I don't want to charge you. And you have women call me, well, men too, but women call me and they say, I have 3 kids and I don't know what to do. And they, you know, they really have dilemmas. So I think it's just important that you had that connection with people, and not, because I didn't have that in the beginning.
Man, and you touched on something that's, man, Facebook groups, those notary Facebook groups, that was some of the snootiest people I ever came across. Like, it's strange. It's strange because, you know, when you're a beginner for a reason, right? Like, you want to get as much information as possible so you know where to go to, because obviously in business there's going to be pitfalls. It's, you know, it's just inevitable, right? But it's all about, you know, surrounding yourself with the right people so you can limit those mistakes as much as possible, right? I hate that new notaries have to experience that, where they going into a group and they just ask questions, and you got somebody that come along on there and say, should you know these things already?
Yeah, right. And that's so messed up to me. I hate that. And then when I see it, it's just like I feel obligated to reply to them like, okay, you can join my group because I created this space for y'all. I do not want anybody to feel like they're not included, especially when they're just trying to get information. Like that's
it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense at all. Like say,
and I think you're like one of the ones I see, because I think we're on Twitter, and you're the one I see the most that talks about it. And I'm like, yeah, I definitely feel him.
I call him out every time. Like, I call him out every time, because I don't think that's right. Right? I mean,
it's not.
The person is coming to you like looking for help, like help them out. Like, and when you have these negative responses, like when you coming from a very negative place, right? And if you see something, if you feel like someone should know these things already, like by you leaving that type of response, how does that help them moving forward?
It doesn't. That's the thing.
How does that help them moving forward? If you're not giving them anything of value, what was the purpose of you leaving that comment?
Right.
What's the purpose of it, right? And I think that's what's so great about what you're doing is like, okay, you've seen that, okay, we got new notaries that's coming in here and experiencing these negative groups and kind of making them feel like, you know, they're not making them feel belong. Where it's like, look, I'm gonna create a platform where all of y'all can come over here. No question is a bad question at all. This is a positive environment where you could be in and fire off any question that you want. Like I said, we all got questions at the end of the day. Like, no one knows everything, right?
I have questions, because I still have questions. I'm not a seasoned notary. I still ask questions. I'll reach out to notaries on my page and be like, okay, so I have a question about this document. I'm like, this looks funny to me, or something like that, because you know, you learn from the cradle to the grave. It doesn't matter how old or how young somebody is. So, you know, it's just.
But that also shows that you're willing to continue to be a student of the game as well. You're not in this space where you feel like, oh, I know everything, I got it figured out. Like, even then, you come across a document where it may look a little funny, and you go come across some documents in this business where it's like, what is this? Or you're gonna need some help, right? And we also need those people to fall back on, as opposed to someone that say, oh, you know this document already. It's like, man, if that person should know, how about you show them the way so they don't have to go to the group to ask those questions in the first place?
Exactly. Those are my biggest 2 things, are those Facebook groups and those overpriced courses. Those are my 2 things that I'm just like, can y'all just get these beginner notaries just a little bit. Just don't charge them $500 for a beginner course. Like,
you definitely gotta relax.
You gotta relax.
Those groups, man. I could talk about them groups all day. Before I jump, and there's another thing I gotta add on, because since we talking about it, right? For y'all that's in these groups, stop complaining about the lowball offers that you're receiving. No one cares. No one cares. You can find a couple of people that's gonna sympathize with you, right? But at the end of the day, no one cares, because at the end of the day, if you're being fed business, you're not in a position to complain about anything. All right. There's a multitude of ways to be able to book your own business, whether you want to pay for a course, whether you want to go on YouTube, whether you want to build a network, whatever it is that you want to do. There's a multitude of avenues that you can explore so you can learn how to book your own business. Right. Sure. If you get an assignment from a signing service and you don't like what they're offering, you can either say yes or you can say no. Simple as that. Simple as that, because I get tired of that.
Even in those groups, you're not even supposed to converse about prices and fees. So I'm just like, the fact that we're even talking about this, you're not even supposed to do that technically.
Because at the end of the day, that's not going to advance your business forward, And also another too, you never know who's paying attention as well.
You never know. I know signing services for sure check social media like it's nothing. Like title companies and signing services, they're on social media just like us. They may be disguised, but they on there.
Yeah. So. Because one thing I like to say is, because I run a signing service myself. The notaries that you hire, they're a reflection of your agency, right? So if I got a person that I've hired, they on Facebook or Twitter or any kind of platform just talking downright crazy, right? That's going to reflect on me as an agency. So I don't want to work with that person
for no reason.
It just doesn't make sense. So be mindful of the things that you put on there and stop the complaining, because again, no one cares. No one cares. All right. So now that I got that off my chest, because I had to let that be known.
Had to get it off.
had to get it off. So talk about your group. Talk about your group a bit, and what kind of impact has it made on you as a business owner, and what are some things that you've learned from creating your own network of notaries to, like, say, either educate, collaborate with, and just building your network in general?
Yeah, for sure. On the Notarize with Nyla Network Facebook group, it's literally only 500, like probably 500 members, because I just added somebody today, so I think it's 500 members. And so, and I started it. I want to say I started it last year. But I became more active in it this year. So a lot of people have been joining, but I just think it's so cool that a lot of people can bounce off of each other. Like just last night, somebody was like, I've heard people are dual commission. I want to be commissioned in Tennessee and Kentucky. And, or it was some state, I think I'm probably getting it wrong, but it was another girl I remember talking to in the group probably like 2 weeks ago. And she told me she was dual commission, and I was able to tag her in that post, and they connected with each other. So I just think it's cool that you can I'm like, the fact that I can reach out to people and get them to connect them, like, okay, if I don't know the answer, I know somebody that does, because I'm like, I'm not dual commission, I'm just in Texas. But the fact that I can just reach out to people and have them get that platform where they can promote their business, because I always tell them within the group, post your business, connect with people that are in your place, because everybody in there is not from Texas. So there's Indiana, there's Kentucky, there's Georgia, Louisiana. So I'm like, find your person that you can probably meet up with in person, like find somebody. So we just kind of do that in there. It's just networking and promoting your business, asking questions. It's like the other Facebook groups, but nicer.
And I think that's super dope. Because, like, again, you have a platform where it's just everybody just not coming to you for questions. It's 500 people where we can all bounce ideas off of each other. Even the same thing in my groups, like even in our group, Stamper communities, like if anyone has a question, like they're more than open to posting that question, right? If it's a signing that we have available, we want to be able to pass each other business as well. Because I think the importance thing of having the importance of these groups are, one, is a platform where everybody can collaborate with, can congregate with, and also be able to pass each other business as well, because we are in this business to make money at the end of the day, right? So if we could be a resource for you where you can get a wealth of information and we can help put money in your pockets as well, it's a no-brainer for you to just be a part of those groups.
Like I dropped a signing service list of like 500 companies, and everybody was just so like, oh my God, thank you for this. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, so y'all don't have to ask me about where to sign up no more.
Right. They'll DM you.
500 companies.
They will DM you. Folks will blow your messages up.
We
Just asking you
will.
questions. It's like sometimes I'll be like, yo, the questions is inside the course. The questions is actually inside the group. But I'm gonna answer it for you.
I'm gonna just answer right.
I'm just answer it for you anywhere, right? So that's pretty dope. That now inside your group, do you have any moderators or admins, or like say it's just you?
It's just
run the group.
because I've created an area where it's a judgment-free zone, so I don't feel like I need moderators. So it's just me that's an admin. Like if I've never seen anyone where somebody's being rude, or it's just like someone's just not receptive to information. I've never came across it, so I'm like, I don't need any moderators.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
I like that. Let's transition to your social media.
Yeah.
Your social media, I got to give you your flowers. Your social media is very dope. I love the branding behind your post. Most people, when you see their posts, it's like, okay, I got a picture here, I got a picture there. But for it's like everything that you post is very consistent, down to the brand colors, down to the content, the way you post everything out. How did you have any social media marketing experience before? Like where did that come from?
I know everything on my page is pink, but
even the background.
Yeah, even the background. I went to school at Grambling for communications. That's what my bachelor's degree is in, communications. And underneath communications, you take graphic designing classes, you take marketing classes, you take business class, like all of that. Because I used to be on the radio in college. That's a whole nother tidbit.
We're gonna touch on that in a second.
That's a whole nother tidbit. But so I took classes like graphic design and marketing and just getting your name out there. That's why I'm so big on marketing and making goodie bags and getting your name out there, because that's like second nature to me, because I went to college for it. I'm like, I'm going to use these degrees. I am going to use these degrees
to work.
I'm going to definitely. So me sending classes, I just, they really teach you. And then I went to HBCU. So like they really teach you to hone in on your creativity, just, being a Black children, being Black people. Because a lot of people don't really let Black people be creative, like just be able to just be themselves and do what they want to do. And I think that's what's so cool about it. And I'm just like, yeah, I probably can. I can tweak a couple of my posts to make them look more appealing to the eye and reach out to people. So that's really just where it comes from. Just me having a communications background.
That's dope. Now, have you thought about taking those skills and doing that maybe for another notary or using that for another business?
Another business? Not yet, because I'm still trying to get the hang of this. I'm still trying to get the hang of this one, but I do offer social media assistance as a service when you want to book with me. I have professional services that you can book as far as like Canva, because all of my stuff is from Canva and a lot of people don't know how to really maneuver through Canva. So I have Canva assistance, social media platform assistance. Like a girl called me the other day asking me like, I'm just on Instagram and I'm trying to find clientele. And I'm just like, if you want clientele, you have to be on every single platform, every single one, including Twitter and everything.
Everywhere.
I even have a Quizlet. Like I'm on everything.
You gotta be everywhere, especially on social media. Like everywhere they look up, they got to see you.
Google is important. Google business page, everything. So I just think that's the most essential.
Oh, that's super dope. You are. I mean, just from this conversation, you're not lacking in skills at all. I can tell.
I try to hone in on everything.
Yeah, I think that's really important, especially in this environment where, I mean, you have to have. You should master one thing, but you should also be able to have complementary skills as well, right? I think you bring a lot of that to the table. So I commend you on that, because I said that's not an easy thing to do. Like as far as trying to do graphic design and all that stuff, I just started learning that stuff. I want to say probably November or December of last year, right? And like, I ain't gonna say I'm the greatest now. I'm much better than I was when I got started. But that all comes back from just taking action, just getting started.
Yeah, and that's just, you'll get better as you go, because if you scroll down to my like first post, they're a little rough.
Yeah. Same here.
They get better, so they get better.
Same here. Like a lot of my posts in the beginning, it was just like screenshotting tweets.
Yeah.
The format of my content was just like all over the place, right? But I feel like the important part is, like I said, just taking imperfect action. Because I think what most people, when they start, they got this idea that they got to be perfect. They want things to look a certain way. And then once you start overthinking everything, you get to a point where it's like, all right, you didn't even get a post out because you're so concerned with just make sure this is perfect, right? But I think as long as you just put it out there, just put it out into the world, over time, the more you continue to do it, like you're gonna, it's inevitable that you're gonna get better the more you continue to do it, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, that's pretty dope. So let's transition back into the notary business. As far as your business now, what is your specialty? Is it general notary work? Is it loan closing? What's the service that you provide that you specialize in?
Do you mean as in like what's my favorite one, or because I offer all services, or like what do I just do the best in, or
yeah? So I would say what do you perform the best in, or what is your favorite service you like to provide?
General notary work. I love general notary work. I really do. I mean, it's not the only thing I do. I do loan signings, of course, but I love general notary work because I feel like general notary work is a more personal connection. I don't know if you get what I mean when I say that. Like, it's more of a personal connection because I do a lot of people reach out to me for medical POAs. Like, when you go to the hospices and they like a will or something like that. And I feel like it's so personal because I'm there with you, with your family. Like versus being at a title company and it's so businessy and formal. And it's like, okay, well, let's sign this refinance, this loan modification. It's so like formal there. But when you do general notary work, it's so, you get that personal connection with people. Even when I do like wedding officiant consultations with people and they're just so in love, it's just like a personal, connection with people. So I just think that's so neat to just be a part of something like that.
You perform weddings as well?
I've only did one. No, two.
You've done it though. But you've done it though. So that's how you do it though.
And it was just it wasn't even like a huge wedding. It was like two people were there plus the bride and groom. It wasn't even huge. I was just
so when you got into the business now, did you start off doing loan closings first, and then once you started to get your feet wet with the loan closing, you're able to explore these different services that you can provide as a notary?
No, I did general notary work for a long time first because I felt like I needed to familiarize myself with smaller documents before I just jumped into anything like where it's 170 pages. Yeah. I felt like I needed to just start myself off slow because I come across a lot of notaries that reach out to me and they're like, okay, I just got my notary commission. Can I get my loan signing exam? I'm like, you can, but I just would rather somebody get the experience going out there and getting those signings just with like 2 documents versus straight out the gate, you going straight to 180 pages, scan bags, sending stuff off. Like, y'all don't know how to do that yet.
Right. Yeah. You definitely got to get your training down first before you do that. I mean, when I first got into the business, I started off doing loan closings. Like I used to work as a security guard. So on graveyard shifts, I would have the study guide. And I would literally just sit there all night, just like studying those forms. Cause I knew as soon as I got to that signing table, I would need to know how to perform those documents, right? So I did like the complete opposite. Now looking back, I probably would have started off doing general notary work now, especially what I know now.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I would start out.
It's a process though. It's a process. I mean, different strokes for different folks. So
absolutely, yeah. I mean, like I said, it's definitely a process. Like I said, once you get into it, like eventually you're gonna find your way. Yes. You're gonna eventually find your way. You're gonna at some service, the service that you started out with that you may have thought was a service that you want to provide, you may end up being like, you know what? I want to work more with attorneys. I want to work more with the financial institutions. I much rather do that than to do loan closes moving forward. So nothing wrong with it. Everyone has their own preferences, but I always like to ask those questions like, what's your favorite service? What do you provide?
I know I ask that a lot on my social medias too. I'm like, what? I'm just curious.
Yeah, my favorite service, I love working with the attorneys. Just these estate plan signings. I've been doing those all year. I'm trying to do those all year and then some, right? So that's definitely my favorite service.
That's amazing.
So weddings. How'd you find out about weddings?
Just researching and looking in what different notaries have been doing. Like you see notaries saying, "Oh, I do this and do this," and then you just end up looking into it and adding it. It really wasn't no science behind it. There was no science behind it. I was just like, oh, okay, I didn't know that I can, and so well in certain states, notaries can be wedding officiants, but I just went online, got ordained in 5 minutes. It's like, okay.
Ain't that crazy how fast you can get ordained?
That's crazy.
Ain't that crazy? Because I'm looking into doing that. I just haven't got everything set up, and I was like, I think it's gonna be this long, drawn out process. I was like, no, just go to Universal Life Church, go to AMN, wherever the place is called.
That's exactly my way. Universal Life Church.
Got ordained just like that. I was like, oh, that's that easy.
Oh, this is quick.
Yeah, but and with that as well, one thing I've noticed about the notary business is it's not like, obviously it's nothing wrong with getting a degree and whatnot to make money, but it's a trip on how you could just sign up to be a notary. You can just sign up to provide this specific service, and you can really make really good money providing that service.
You really can. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It blows me away. It blows me away, like the type of money that some of these notaries make, and it makes you think like, wow, where did you go to learn that? It's like, oh, I just went online, took a course, got certified, and I just do it.
Yeah,
I was like, really?
Quick.
Yeah, man, everything, it just makes me think. I was like, man, why the hell did I go to college?
And I'm in it now, and I'm still questioning myself.
Yeah. Hey, but at least you're going to school for something that's meaningful. I went to school for criminal justice, thinking I was going to be I went to
hence the security guard you said.
yeah, because what's funny, because I didn't go to school to be a security guard. That's the funny part, right? I tell you, so my stepdad was in prison at the time, and he was telling me he would call me, and he'd ask me what I was up to or whatnot. And he would tell me, he was like, yo, you should look into becoming a correctional officer. These guys don't do nothing. I was like, so at the time, I'm like, I think I was like, yeah, they don't do nothing. He's like, all they do is just sit around and watch us. I was like, man, that sounds like something I should do. And I'm thinking I needed to, go to college for that, end up going through the process. Long story short, it didn't work out for me, right? So everything happens for a reason.
It does.
Everything happens for a reason. Yeah, everything definitely happens for a reason. So what I always like to ask this: have you ever had like a notary experience where it's like this is a little janky, or I don't know what's one of the weirdest experiences you've had as a notary?
I never had any rude clients because I always come into play, even though I have my mask on all the time.
Yeah,
you can kind of smile with your eyes. So I always go in there with a lot of people call my charm a Texas charm when I go to signings, but I always go in there with a smile. So I really haven't came across any rude clients. The only thing I get that's weird to me is like people want to do signings at like 10 at night, and I'm just like, why do you want to do a signing so late? I'm like, why is it so late? I'm like, it's so dark. And then I live on the outskirts of Houston, and I'm basically in the country. So when people ask me to go somewhere late, I'm like, there's no street lights on your street. Yeah. Like, I can't see. Like, it's a little unsafe. So I'm like, let's do this in the morning.
I've gotten one of those requests before where, they want you to come hella late. And it's like,
very late.
I understand that some folks is getting off work, but 10 p.m. to sign some documents. I don't know about that.
You can call me at 6 a.m. and I'll be there as long as the sun is up.
Right. Yeah, we can make that happen. I think the only signing that I had before, I want to say 2020, I had a signing that was from 7:30 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Wow.
They were refinancing 5 houses.
5 houses.
Yep, and the properties were in a trust. So normally, if you refinance, loan documents that's inside a trust, we're talking 200 pages and up. So I think I might have printed out 2,000 pages that night.
Yeah, you definitely are in the Notary Hall of Fame.
That was like that signing was so long. I mean, thankfully the signers were cool, but man, that printing out 2,000 pages, like I bought ink that day and ran out that night.
Wow. But I know the money was lovely, so I know you weren't complaining too bad.
Yeah, so. the money was good, but I ain't doing that again.
Yeah, that's a long time. 5 houses. I've never even experienced that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's funny because up to that point, loan signings used to feel like they took forever, but since that night, it was like, man, all the loan closes I did before, it felt quick. It's like, man, it can't get no worse than, I mean, I was 8 hours out of signing. Every signing feel like it's 30 minutes.
That's a job.
Yeah, it's a job. Yeah, it is, right?
It
so,
is a 9 to 5.
yeah, I ain't doing that no more. I'm cool. So now, as far as what else you have going on, do you have any courses or any programs that you got in the works working on?
I have some courses that are in the works. I have nothing out as of now. A lot of people ask me, "Oh my God, can you mentor me? Can I have courses?" And most of this stuff is basically based off of me being in school right now. And I'm like, I don't like being for somebody 75%. I want to be there for you guys 100%. So I'm like, if I can't give you 100% these courses and mentorships, let me just hold off until things kind of ease up. Like December is like my biggest month where I have no school, it's winter break. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can squeeze something in December. Nice. But as far as me launching something, everything will be at the end of the year. But I do have like templates for people to purchase digital products. Mm-hmm. An ebook is coming soon. A lot of people don't know that, but exclusively on the STAMPIN podcast.
Yeah, I heard it here first, y'all.
Heard it here first. Yeah, ebooks coming out, and I just have a lot of things that I just want to give resources to people. Just make stuff accessible to a lot of notaries. So,
talk about that process. I mean, is the ebook already done, or are you in the process of working on it?
I am in the process of working on it. I'm gonna say I'm about halfway done because it's including things like terminology, acronyms, my testimony of starting, like just everything. Just I want to make it a personal connection with everybody, and not just a book of like it's basically a notary tell-all guide, like just like a guide that you can follow if you don't know any terms, or just like document scripts that you can just kind of follow. Yeah. And just a personal connection with me, understanding my story, and then seeing if I can relate to yours. Yeah. So basically what it's about. It might be a little big, but it's gonna be an ebook.
That's cool. How's that now will this be your first one?
Yes, my first one.
That's so dope. Talk what's that experience? What has that experience been like so far in the process of you creating this?
Oh, it's been like I had to discipline myself to really do it. Like I'm just like, okay, Nyla, do this ebook on the side, because I'm like, you trying to get it done, just go ahead and do it. And I love to write. I've always loved writing ever since I was a kid. I used to write stories, read them to my parents all the time, little fake kid stories and all that. But I've always loved to write, and I'm just like, why not make myself author? Because once you publish something, a piece of writing, you're an author. So I just thought that was just so neat that I can, because I knew when I got older that when I was a kid, I knew that I wanted to be an author. And I was just like, I didn't know what I was going to write, but I guess a notary ebook or something about notaries is what it was.
That's dope. So, I gotta, and I gotta commend you, because most folks, they're not willing to put nothing out into the world, showcase their gift, utilize their gift and put it out to the world. That's not an easy thing to do. Most people think it's just easy to just write some shit up and then just put it out there. Nice. Not an easy thing to do, especially when you want to give something of value. It's not an easy thing to do.
It's not. And then you have to make sure you don't have any discrepancies in it. Like you don't want to have anything inaccurate in there. Somebody's like, no, that's not what it is. So it's basically, I have to do research on the back end to make sure what I'm putting in there is right. So it's a process. That's my main tidbit for today. It's a process.
It's joy in the journey, y'all. Took me a while to understand that, but it's joy in the journey.
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
Everybody, getting text messages while I'm on the call. What's up, y'all?
I thought it was me. I was like, wait.
We give it to y'all with STAMPIN podcast. Give you raw and direct, y'all.
Right.
Text message sounds and all that, y'all.
Yeah, my watch was just dinging earlier. I was like, I hope it didn't.
That part, right? So, man, this has been pretty dope. I had another question that I wanted to ask you, but it slipped.
I know you want to touch on the radio part, but it's
see that I definitely want to talk about that. What was that experience like, being on the radio? I think you're on mute.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, my connection went unstable.
Okay.
But yeah, one of my friends reached out to me and was like, I really think you should join the lab. It was called the lab in college with the radio. It was a student-based radio station. And my first day going in there, I got a show. And I was like, oh, because I was just talking to the radio head, Mr. Black. He's my favorite. I was talking to Mr. Black and he was just like, yeah, because I was talking about how much I love music and I love Southern soul music. I'm such a Southern music I love anything like kind of like in the blues kind of vibe. So he gave me a show regarding Southern soul music. And I was just like, oh wow, that's so cool. And then after that, when that was done, the next year I got a show with the dude that put me into the lab. It was called Full Blown. And basically we go full blown on all topics, everything, full blown on music, full blown on culture, news, everything. So once that was done, my last show that I did before the pandemic hit and I had to come back home, it was called Girls Interrupted with two of my close friends. It was an all girls podcast and we talked about everything regarding feminism, just everything just regarding women in history. It was just basically women based, even though we talked about a lot of other stuff. A lot of stuff was just like a female's point of view kind of type of podcast radio show thing. So yeah, it was real fun. I had 3 shows my whole time there, and I'm so grateful for it. It's helped me get out of my shell because I'm naturally shy person. I don't know if you can tell, because I'm talking, but I'm a naturally shy person. Yeah, a lot of people can't tell, but I'm a naturally shy person. So me being on those radio shows really it helped me to express my voice and find my voice. So it was just a jump start into me communicating better.
Yeah. So you would say it would be safe to say that you're an introvert. Let me see. Sound like your connection's a little unstable. There you go. I can hear you now.
There we go. Okay, I think you said, I read your lips and it looked like you said introvert.
Yep. So would you say to say you're an introvert?
Yeah, I would definitely say I love my peace. Like ever since a kid, I just love being in my own little bubble and being in my room. And that's probably why I'm so active on social media, because I'm like, okay, I can just type on my phone and just do this all day.
That part.
But yeah, but I'm definitely an extrovert when it's time to be so. But
yeah,
my nature is being an introvert.
Got it. Okay. So for a beginning notary that's just getting into the business, what advice would you give them when they first get started?
2 words: don't overthink.
That's a bar.
That's it.
That's a bar.
Don't overthink. Because a lot of stuff, because I know for me, I was overthinking when I first started. I was just like 2-3 months went by and I didn't want to do any sign. I was getting them, but I didn't want to go to any because I was just like, oh my God, what if I miss the initial? What if I miss my stamp? What if I miss the send? It was just like a lot of what ifs, and I was overthinking it, and then got into the point where I'm just like, days are going by and I'm just overthinking it. Don't want to take the risk. And I just feel like a lot of stuff is like, basically don't overthink it. Just if you go out there and you mess up, the worst thing they're going to tell you is, oh, you missed this, come back. That's the worst thing they can tell you. Like if you miss a sign it, if you miss a signature or a stamp. So it's not really like, oh my God, the end of the world. Just go out there. Don't overthink it at all. Just do it.
Just do it. Execute. Just execute. Man, I want to add on to that. Yeah, don't overthink it. This is one of the more simpler businesses that you can ever be a part of. If you just keep it in its purest form, hey, I need a document needs to be notarized. Okay, where do I go to? What document needs to be notarized? How many signatures do you need? Okay, that's how much it costs. Keep it simple. Simple. Keep it that simple, y'all.
It's that simple. It's not anything that needs to be long drawn out.
Yeah.
Figuring out what needs to be needed.
Yeah.
They ask us what they tell us what they need, and execute, like you said. That's about it.
Find one service you want to provide. Like I said, whether it's general notary work, whether it's loan closings, postilles, fingerprinting, weddings, just find one thing that you want to do, go all in on that, And because what's funny, because the funny thing is, once you find that one thing that you want to master and be great at, that makes your marketing a little more, it makes your marketing easier because you actually know who needs this service, what problem yet you solve, and what's the best way to get in contact with this target market, right? Through like I said, with that experience. So find that one thing that you want to be great at and just focus on that. And again, don't overthink it. So
find your niche.
I appreciate you sharing that. Get a niche, y'all. The riches are in the niches.
Yep. Look at that. I like that.
So always, and then to wrap it up, I always like to ask this question to everyone that jumps on the show. Where do you see your business and where do you see your business in the next 5 to 10 years?
Still changing lives.
Okay.
I mean, I want to expand to a point where I'm at an office location because it's mobile is good. I still would be mobile, but I feel like having an office location will kind of cut back on gas prices. Cut back on gas prices a lot. So I really want to have an office location and do just like how you do signing service, outsourcing, doing things like that. So I definitely can see myself doing something and branching out. But just for right now, it's just little old me and going to signings. But I definitely see myself just still changing people's lives 5 years from now, 10 years from now, because that's what the business is.
Yeah, that's dope. I appreciate you for hopping on. Before you jump off, let the people know how can they find you, plug your stuff in.
For sure. On all platforms, it's Notarized with Nyla. And if you can't find me at Notarized with Nyla, it's Notarized with Nyla LLC. So that's me on everything.
Appreciate y'all for tapping in today. I appreciate you. I almost called you Notarized with Nyla. I appreciate you, Nyla, for hopping on today.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. It was an honor. Before we jump off, make sure y'all tap in with Stampin Academy. We teaching live classes I think we teaching 4 live classes a month. We'll be offering weekly group strategy sessions as well. So you're not in this business by yourself. Make sure y'all tap in with us there. If you want to learn how to outsource your own signings, you don't want to be in Stampin Academy, you just want the course itself, you can learn at your own pace. Tap in with Notary Agency System. I'll show you the 5-step system to outsourcing signings. If you want to learn how to work with estate planning attorneys to book estate plan signings, make sure you go to www.legal.workshop.com so you can learn the blueprint to working with these law firms. All right. And until next time, y'all, make sure y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the Stampin Podcast. Make sure y'all follow this channel as well. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, peace.